So this is my review of the 011X. I have to say, unbelievably quick. So I started off with Xiaomi, I moved up to a McCain MX60, then I went to the Dualtron Thunder, and now I'm on the 011X. So what are my first impressions of it, having only opened it, having only owned it a day? I have to say it's fast, very fast. So this is actually I think nearly £1,000 cheaper than the Thunder, but the main problem with something like this is I don't think it has the same quality, you know, as Dualtron applied to their scooters. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic looking scooter, and you know, it just has so much power. But quality wise, you know, I'm not really sure. I haven't owned it long enough to comment. Everything so far, you know, seems okay. No problems out of the box. So, oh, that's definitely not what you want when you're going on a ride. So from first impressions, when I got it out of the box, I took it out and it wouldn't go past 70 kilometers an hour, which I was a bit confused about. And then I realized, obviously, there are P settings. So I turned the power up on the scooter, and my God, it is quick. I think on Strava, I've had 57, 58 so far, but the road's a bit damp. I've nearly come off it twice already. You can't take something like this out with these tires in this sort of weather. So what's good about it? Well, the construction is very solid. The mount and the actual whole sort of steering column, there is no flex whatsoever. It's very solid. This whole sort of front construction, you know, is very rigid. You know, on the Thunder, you get a tiny bit of stem play. On the McCain, you had a lot of stem play. This is absolutely solid, which is great. You know, it looks really nice, and I have to say as well, the suspension on this is far more forgiving. So the Dualtron Thunder, for those of you that have got a Dualtron Thunder, and those of you that haven't, the Dualtron uses a cartridge for suspension, and you can put different cartridges in for different suspension settings. But with the 011X, you have traditional motorcycle style spring, you know, and that's fine. I presume you can probably strengthen up, you know, the suspension settings on it, but out of the box, you know, it's quite good. It's good off-road and it's good on-road. The rotors and the nut brakes and the nut hydraulic brakes are great. Now, the other thing as well, these seem to come with different configurations. I think I've seen an 11X in America and it had different hydraulic brakes, but these come with the nut brakes, which is really good. Now, the other thing that a lot of Dualtron owners miss is having a proper rear footrest. This is really good, and obviously it acts as a suspension pivot, so it's good. And, you know, the general configuration of this is really good. You know, I don't think they've been as innovative with hiding cables and putting stuff in places. I mean, you know, we've got a motor cable down there, and, you know, that's, you know, it's exposed, so you get something flick up and potentially break into that cable, then you're going to have a problem. So, you know, there are little quality issues that I point out, and maybe it's just they've kept it to a budget, so, you know, that's fine. And for £2,000, you know, you get a lot of scooter. I think this one has the 32 amp hour battery. I'm not sure who the manufacturer of the battery is for this. I know LG, I think it's LG in Dualtrons. So, and the other thing that's really good about this that the Dualtron do fall down on is I love this whole sort of kickstand mechanism. It's very good, very sturdy. You know, when you lean this on the side, you know, it's not going to go anywhere. The one thing that I don't like about the scooter, and it's something that seems to be a bit of a mixed bag, and that's the steering's very notchy, and it feels like there's a lot of resistance, you know, when you go to steer. So if I'm up and I'm going along, it's very very sort of stiff. Now, apparently a lot of people say that it's their version of a steering damper, basically, because obviously you've got high center of gravity. It's a big scooter, small wheels, high speed, so it's prone to wobble, death wobble. So obviously that, you know, counteracts it, but I just find it really jerky to ride like this. You know, when I'm steering, it's a bit, and sometimes so far if you accelerate hard and you sort of wobble a bit, it sort of counteracts. So it's not what I would say is amazing. The other thing that I don't like about the 011X is the voltmeter and the screen display. It's cheap. It's, you know, this is cheap. Get it on all the cheap Chinese scooters. It's the same stuff, and to be honest, most of the stuff on this is cheap and Chinese. So how long this will last, I don't know. How reliable it'll be, I don't know. A lot of people rage about the 11X and the 10X and Tech X9, Tech Life X9, but you know, overall very good. When you get out of the box, it is restricted. Mine was set to 60% power, I think, so it'll top out at 70 kilometers an hour. So because I'm on wet ground now, I've put it in single mode 1, because literally you'll just come off of it otherwise. So yeah, as I go along, even as I go along, there's no flex on the stem, and I like that. I like a good solid, you know, rigid steering column, because you know, with a lot of scooters, if you're traveling along, you've got column wobble. You know, it's not nice. You don't feel safe on the scooter. Would I say I feel safe on this? No, definitely not. You know, in all fairness, I've got the wrong tyres and I'm on a damp road. So, and I had it on 80% power, mode 3, dual motor. I came off along this road, and yeah, it's just impossible to go along it without it kicking out or trying to chuck you off it. Range, this is the first time I've taken it out, so I don't know what the range on these is like. I can imagine 72 volts, 32 amp hours. I mean, the Dualtron Thunder has got a 35 amp hour battery, and you know, it really depends on how you drive it. You know, if you put around on single motor modes, you know, in mode 2 doing 20 mile an hour, you know, you'll probably get, you know, a lot more out of the battery than you would if you drive it like I do, which is like a nutcase. You know, I'll regularly go flat out, and I've already been flat out on this, and yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. Even at sort of 20-30 mile an hour, when you tap the throttle, it just wants to spin the wheels up, you know, which isn't great. I am going to go along the road slow for a little while, primarily because the wheels are wet and this ground is wet, and you know, I don't want to come off of it. But realistically, this time of year, yeah, you know, you can go out on something like this, but I would probably say that you'd want good tyres. You know, you'd want good tyres, otherwise you're just asking to come off. It's very twitchy, very twitchy. But when you open it up, yeah, it goes. Really careful wherever it's wet. I'm just easing the throttle off any damp bits, and it will try and kick out from under you. So looking forward to the summer. Definitely looking forward to the summer, or even the spring. You know, you can go out on this on a day where it's sort of 10 degrees and just not like this. I'm just trying to feather the throttle.